Alright, here's another pen part, and we're going to start this the same way we did the pen clicker. This is again another student request, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. Start with a 2D sketch, and we're going to make just half of this again. So I'm going to use my rectangle tool, and let's see here. It looks like it has one shape going up, and it pops out a little bit, it has a different shape. Oh, I hope that's all the same, but let's assume for a second that it's not, which means that you would have to measure what the diameter is here, measure what the diameter is up here, and divide each of those numbers by 2. Okay. So, easiest to just kind of make this a solid. That did not do what I hoped it would. Let's see. Let's bring that up to there. That goes straight across. Don't straighten yourself out. And we'll drag that up a wee bit. Bring that in just a little bit. I'm just trying to make it look right. I don't care if it actually is right now. We're going to revolve this. So again, R is the short key for that. Otherwise you go finish, sketch, and revolve. But if you do it from the sketch, it gives you some options to try and correct things if it messes up. That looks almost proportional, but I think I'm going to make both sections just a wee bit longer. This should not be an issue for you because you're using real numbers and I'm just guessing. We're going to use shell again, and again shell removes surfaces, so if I click just the one surface it's going to make this whole thing like a cup. But if I select the bottom surface as well, it removes that end too. We're going to make the thickness, let's say 0.05 on this one. Why not? We'll have something that looks kind of like a pen again. We're going to go to the origin folder. I'm going to pick a plane that's going right through the middle of it and say new sketch. And it looks like it has a little bit of a curve to it. So that could mean one of two things. Let's go ahead and go to slice graphics, so right click or F7. It could mean that from there to there is just cut right down at an angle, in which case let's project the geometry of this. I want to see where that little corner is. I'm going to use this tool, which is coincident or coincident. I'm going to say that line has to pass through that point. So it's going to be right at the corner, and then you would measure how far down this would go from the edge. So we could just say extrude. E is the shortcut for that. I would say cut, distance, all, and symmetrically. So it's going to cut from the left and the right side. So it looks something kind of like that. Or it could be that it's not a straight cut at all, in which case let's take another look at this. F7 is slice graphics. Let's delete all of that, and instead let's use a ellipse. Come right over the top here, down a wee bit here, and I lost my projected geometry. So I still want to see that little edge. Use my coincident or coincident point, and this is another thing where again you can play with and say how far down that goes. But let's pretend for a second it had like a rounded shape and not just a straight cut. You could still say E for extrude, or you could finish your sketch and extrude, and there would cut it more like that kind of a shape. From this picture, I can't quite tell what it is. I do see there's a little bit of a ridge there. There's a little bit of a ridge there. So just like the other one, we can look at it from the top. And actually, let's look at it from the bottom first. The bottom's going to be the easiest. We pick inside circle, say new sketch, right click, project geometry. I want to see where that thing was. Make a new circle sharing that center point and going just inside of that there. I'm going to extrude these two circles in between, so I'm going to hit E as my shortcut, select that bit, go to an isometric view so we can see what's happening. I'm going to cut, so I'm removing material, and make this, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch or so, and click OK. So I'd add just a little bit of a rib there. Let's see, what could we do to this? It's going to be pretty tough. So I'm going to click on this so it's showing the XZ plane. That's where the base is. I'm going to select plane. I'm going to click and drag all the way up. And if you know the total length of this pin, you could type in that number there. I do not. So I'm going to just make a sketch above it somewhere. Say new sketch. And then see if I can't project the geometry of this. Same kind of thing. You could either make a new circle with that center point, or you can use this offset tool. Click on the thing you projected, go out just a wee bit, and then say extrude. You would cut between those two circles, change it so it's cutting down, and type in some distance there. So maybe it goes down like a 1/2 inch, or I don't know, I'll go down 0.75. Again, it's a little hard to tell from the picture, but I think you want some kind of a lip on the inside, and this is just one way to do that. And it didn't show up too well, but I know it's there. Oh, we had this going at an angle. So you know what? Let's go back to this extrusion for the sketch that went with it. We're going to make another circle on the inside because it keeps changing as it goes down. So now I'm going to go back to that extrusion. See how there's an extra lip there? And we're also going to pick as our profile this part. So there we go. I'm sure if we're using actual dimensions, this would be much easier. You just pinch your dial caliper between this part, pinch your dial caliper between this part, these two surfaces, outside and inside, and then subtract the difference to find what this little lip should be. And it shouldn't cut all the way through. I'm sure I just went down too far. Anyway, last bit of this picture, I can see there's threads on the inside of this. So if I look down underneath here, easy way to add threads is you just click under home, you click thread, and assuming you have the diameter right, it's going to predict the right threads for you. It is not threaded the full length, so let's make up some length. Let's call it like, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch, 0.25, and that's how far down that went. And this does not have an offset, but just so you can see what that does, if we typed in like 0.1, it's going to leave a space before it starts the threads. Actually, yours might have that. Looks like there might be a little bit of a space there. So, however far back you think the threads should go, and there you can kind of see them. And there might be a couple other little details. It's like a little ridge there, but that's really not that bad because all you'd have to do is go and zoom in on that surface, say new sketch. You would project your geometry so you can see like this circle here. Make a new one as long as it shares the same center point. And now you're just adding material some distance. If you want to round anything out, that's your fillet tool. Oop. Didn't mean to hit cancel there. And there are circle templates I have where you can kind of guesstimate what this fillet should be. So if we look at it from just a straight on view, you can see it's kind of rounded out now. Boop, boop, boop. And if I want to add a fillet there as well, double click fillet. It looks like I did have something there. Let's add an extra one. Kind of hard to tell from the picture, but I think that's pretty darn good. We'll talk about how to add logos later. It's not a big deal. You don't have to have the logo at all, but if you wanted to, it's called a decal. It's dropped in under modify, not modify. It's under create. There's a little extra bit there. See the little down arrow? Decal, and then you can put a picture on there. Pictures from a sketch view. Let's say we're on sketch 5. This little thing is insert image. You can put an image on it, make it like a decal, and wrap it to the face. We're not going to do that in this video, but you could do that. And if you want to see that, I can show you later. Alright, good luck.